How's it going, everybody? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys are doing wonderful. It's great to be here with you, and I just want to let you know that the podcast that I did with Gabriella is now on her YouTube. I'm going to post the link in the description of this video, so go check that out. It was super awesome. A lot of valuable information, a lot of cool stuff we got into, and a lot of personal stuff too, which I don't really get into on this channel. So definitely want to check that out and show her some love. Go subscribe to her channel. She does a lot of great things. She has a lot of awesome guests on her podcast, and she's a really wonderful person. So anyway, today, the astrology for today is pretty interesting. I mean, this moon's in Leo, so this is right before the full moon. This moon's going to square Jupiter, and it's going to square Uranus. So definitely, today's a day where we are starting to feel really good about where we're at and where we're coming to. It's been pretty wild. It's been pretty intense through Aquarius season. The sun's at 3 degrees of Pisces, so we're 3 days in. We're 3 days into Pisces season. This Mercury's about to come into Pisces too here in the next 2 days. So, yeah, this moon in Leo is going to square over to Jupiter. So, there is a lot to be optimistic about. There's a lot of positivity in our lives, as much as there is difficulty too. And I think that's what we got to remember with this moon square Jupiter is that, those moments when we do feel good and we get excited about something or something good happens or, any good news comes through, we got to remember that it's all equal and that, we still have reality to deal with. We still have these areas of our life to focus on. This Chiron North Node is still active here and a lot of things are still coming up and a lot of work is still being done there and a lot of awareness is still being brought to light, but there's some good things coming in today. So we want to remember and not, get too lost in the good, right? We want to remember that no matter what, we got to keep a cool head with this moon in Leo. So when the moon squares Jupiter, it's definitely we don't want to over-exaggerate things, over-exaggerate the positivity, and lose touch with reality and, what that sense of positivity is. We want to keep our kind of self-righteousness in check, so to say, with this moon square Jupiter. It can be very easy to kind of push your ideas or push beliefs on people or get a little too pushy or get a little kind of over the edge with people, But there's so much good to be had with this, right? It's just a matter of keeping balanced and keeping realistic and not aiming too high, aiming in a realistic direction, especially with Jupiter and Taurus. It's we're manifesting big things here with Jupiter Uranus. Jupiter's at the 10th degree, so it's in the second decan. It's on its way to this conjunction. We're well into all planets direct, Jupiter will be out of shadow once it gets to 15 degrees, which we still got a few weeks for that. But still, it's there's a lot to look forward to. It's been pretty wild, roller coaster, all through Aquarius season. We're starting to feel, that spiritual vibration really take hold in our reality. But also the weight of that, the responsibility of maintaining that cleanliness of that, spiritual vibration and not getting too lost in the clouds, getting too lost in the muck, with Neptune. Saturn's really keeping us in check, and the sun's getting closer to Saturn. So, We got to keep our egos in check today. We got to keep our beliefs in check. We know we're doing great things. We know we're manifesting really high, powerful, magnetic, material, manifestation, like with this Jupiter and Taurus. Like, I think today's one of these days where we're starting to feel like really great about things, but we haven't felt it in this way in a while. So it's easy to get like overly excited. Moon square Jupiter can get overly excited, and express itself in very extreme ways that, maybe can lose touch, So this is definitely one way or one day that we want to keep that in check. But at the same time, it's like, I think it's really important because we have been going through this Chiron North Node, is that by the afternoon, this moon in Leo is going to trine over to the nodes, which I think, to the North Node and Chiron, and then sextile the South Node. So, we can start to feel really good about the work that we're doing and what we're starting to really accept about ourselves, about our relationships, about our heart and what we want in our relationships, and really start to see some real results with what this Chiron North Node is showing up with in our lives. It's been really painful. It's been really intense. It's been hard to kind of face some shit lately, especially this week. So today's a day where we're starting to feel positive about things, we're getting positive feedback. This Mercury's at the last degree of Aquarius. So this is the last day of Mercury in Aquarius. So I take that back. I said we have 2 more days. Today's the last day. So by tomorrow, Mercury's going to be in Pisces, and this is it. Then we're going to just have Venus and Mercury and Pluto in Aquarius. So I think along with this moon in Leo, trining and sextiling the nodes with Mercury at the last degree of Aquarius, we can start to, really piece the pieces together when it comes to this experience this week that we've been going through. It's been really intense. And we can start to really put the pieces together, make the connections, and know, hey, this is what I want to change. This is how I want to change. This is what we need to change. This is what I want to let go of. And I know for sure, and we can make some really radical shifts here with Mercury at the final degree. And now I think with it being final, it's like we know where we're at, we know where we stand, and we know what we want. And this moon in Leo is like, I want this. I want to feel this way. And if I'm not feeling this way, I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle for anything less than feeling this way, because this Chiron North Node is, I felt this way for too long. I've given myself away for too long, So now Mercury wrapping up this cycle through Aquarius is knowing inside of our minds that we know the people we want to be with, the people we want to be around, the friends we want to have around, the communities we want to be involved with, the environment we want to be in. This is very Mercury Aquarius kind of conversation here. I want to be with these people, with these friends, and these communities in this environment. Now Mercury knows. It's seen the whole thing. It started with Pluto. Now it's ending with, not ending. There is no end, but it's coming into Saturn's territory with the sun. So definitely, we've learned a lot about our unconscious desires, our unconscious patterns, our unconscious behaviors, how the people that we are with in our life affect us in unconscious ways that we aren't even aware of, or how we affect the people that we're in, or the communities that we're in, or the environment that we're in very deep unconscious ways that we haven't been aware of. Pluto has brought all that to our awareness. And with this Chiron North Node, it's kind of been a little uncomfortable. It's been a little painful. It can be a little damaging to the ego, right? And now, today is a day where we're like, okay, like we've been through a lot. We've seen a lot. We're putting the whole puzzle together. You know, we're moving into purely spiritual territory here when Mercury gets into Pisces land. So, I mean, things are gonna get much more non-physical here over the next few days. Even with Saturn there, you know. So, yeah, today's one of these days where it's like we could feel like we could kind of analyze how far we've come, what we're putting together, where we're at, where we stand, and how we need to make changes. And I think it's interesting because Mercury's about to leave Aquarius here, and then after the moon sextiles the nodes, or trines the north node, sextiles the south node, this moon is going to square Uranus. And I think it's interesting because, you know, Uranus dispositing Mercury still at the very last degree of Aquarius in the last minutes, and dispositing Venus, Mars, and Pluto, and the moon in Leo in the opposite sign of Aquarius, squaring over to Aquarius ruling planet. So, you know, there can be some things that come up that really force us to have to make a change here. You know, definitely some ego clashes. And whatever that is, it's like, you know, it's just amplifying more of this awareness that we've been really bringing to the forefront, that Pluto has been bringing to the forefront. And, you know, I think definitely by this evening, it's like, okay, like we're really ready to make changes. We're really ready to make shifts. And we know what we want. We're not afraid to say it. We're not afraid to speak it. And we're speaking it from the heart. And it's, you know, we want to do it passionately. We want to do it in creative ways. We, you know, finding new, creative, interesting ways to make changes in our environments and in our relationships, going through all of this, all of these dynamics of all these transits. It's so, there's so many parts playing at once right now, right? It's like a trio, right? Like a trio or a quartet, so to say. There's a quartet playing. There's like four parts playing at once. You know, this is more than a full chord being strummed, right? So, as many notes that are being played right now, I think what all of it together says is that, hey, like, we're ready. We have the awareness. We've gone through a lot. And the positivity that we are coming into today with, it's still challenging, you know, and the sun getting closer to Saturn, it's heavy. Like there's still this weight, but you know, like it's more of a spiritual weight. It's more of a internal weight. It's not necessarily like this kind of externalized, issue. It's much more internal. But I think, you know, Mercury leaving Aquarius, and by tomorrow, Mercury's going to be in Pisces. You know, we're coming into a whole new place within our minds. You know, we've got all the information that we've needed through this Aquarius season. All the places where we haven't really been fully aware and where we need to bring awareness to on a deep level with Pluto. And now we're going to be learning a lot of spiritual lessons here. We're going to be going through a lot of spiritual tests over the next few weeks with Saturn here. And then when we start to get to Neptune, then we can start to see the spiritual manifestation of that, you know. But we want to be focusing on our responsibilities and not getting caught up in just checking out, you know, going out partying, doing drugs, doing all the crazy shit, you know. It doesn't mean you don't live, but it means that like it's really easy in this Pisces season, especially with as much as we're going through with this Chiron North Node and the Sun Saturn and the weight of that. and all this Pluto energy that we just got through. It's easy to say, I need a fucking break, like I need another drink. It's like, there's a better way. There's a better way to deal with that right now. Now's not the time, you know. And this moon in Leo wants to have fun, but it also like knows that it needs to make big changes, and trust its heart to know what changes need to be made and where we need to go, right? So, wow. The Magician card. So, we want to be able to look at things from from both sides, and look at things from, a higher perspective, and also know that like magic is happening in our lives, and the magic happens in Pisces season, but also the magic can only happen if like we're really kind of having this neutral perspective and not attaching to emotions that are totally unnecessary, that are going to lead us down negative paths. The magician does not attach to its emotions. It attaches to what is true and what the facts are. So what are the facts? What is the truth? You have all the tools. We have all the tools. The sun and Saturn are getting closer together, and it's providing us the tools. And that's what Saturn's all about. It's like, you need this to make this happen. You need this to get this shit done. We have the tools to manifest what we need. It's not really about what we want. The magician isn't really about what he wants. It's more about what must be done and what needs to be done. And that's the sun and Saturn getting closer together as well. So, you got to utilize your gifts in a very positive, powerful way. We all have our own gifts, and what are they? And Saturn is starting to remind us of that. Saturn and Pisces, it's like Pisces in the 12th house, and Neptune is all about our gifts as well. Our spiritual gifts, our creative gifts, our artistic gifts, whatever those gifts are. Like, Saturn is here to remind you, like, hey, like, don't forget to navigate through this intensity and this life in general. You have to utilize your powers and your gifts, and in a practical way as well. The magician, it's not about like, alakazam and you make something appear. It's about like, tapping into what is true to you and knowing how to utilize the truth of what your soul is and what you are made of to create the reality that you're supposed to create. So I think today's the day. It's like we're making massive changes. Our environment is like, we've assessed. We've gone through the ringer here with Mercury and Aquarius. So we know what we want different in our friendships, our relationships. We know what we don't want. We know how things need to change. So it is too with the Magician card. It's like, you make one change in your environment, and I said this before, but like, you make one little shift in your environment, it can change everything. It's like the butterfly effect. You change one little thing about the past, it's a whole different future. So take that into account. That's a very Magician card thing too, is like being aware of that, like having that awareness of like that one little shift in the Mandela effect or whatever the fuck, like same concept. It's like, you get a completely different outcome. It's the alchemist. We all have that capability. So I think today's the day with this moon in Leo that we're being reminded of that. We have to trust our heart, trust our gut, trust our instincts. It's fire energy, with the moon trining the North Node and Chiron. Like there's some fire today. So even in the water. So yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.